Welcome back to the program. It's now time to talk education. The reason we're raising this conversation this morning is because of what we saw with the results coming out from JAMB, showing that over 70% of the students scored less than 200. That's less than 50% of the total mark. What exactly is going on? What is happening? What is responsible for that level of quote-unquote failure by the students? We want to explore that conversation with the right people who understand how things work within the education sector, and see how that can be repositioned for the children, our children, all of them who are aspiring to go to university, because this is quite a disturbing number. We're being joined on the program by an education management and school improvement consultant, Mrs. Didiolu Adekogbe. Thank you so much, madam, for coming on the program.
Thank you.
And Dr. Joseph Ayeni, Head, University Counseling and Career Unit, LASU. Thank you both for coming on the program.
It's my pleasure.
So, the natural place I always like to start, how did it hit you when you saw those numbers? Any of you can go first.
I want that because I know she relates with many teachers.
Yeah, thank you once again for having me. Well, bad, but I tell you, I think nothing has really changed. Nothing has really changed. Last year, 2 years back, it's just a little margin. So we've always had this. So the problem is, what's the problem? Why are we where we are? Why is it that we are not getting it right? What is really the problem? Why our children can't do better if we are taking time, as in taking 6 years to prepare them for this? And in the 6 years, are we honest enough? Did we believe in the process or follow the process all through? Because a lot of things are happening now. We just want to see figure. We are looking at figure. How did we get at this figure? The number that registered. How did they get to the point to register? Are they qualified to register? Where did they register? How prepared were they? And then when they in school, how well can we say they took ownership of their learning? How well did they get to know that when I need to get something, I want to go to school, I need to take off some lot of comfort for this purpose? These kids can't even differentiate between what I want and what is happening around me. So it looks like the school, the parent, we are forcing them to go to school. That's the way I see it. Because if you see some of them that have really taken ownership, they know what they are there for. And they exactly do that. And parents who also know that I want the best for my kids, also take some measures. Are we ready to do that? A parent said, while the exam was about to, he took off the child's phone and ensured that it's a phone that does not have all of the facilities of social media distraction that made available. And if there is any other thing that child needs, he gets that ready. How many parents? Are we even available? Are parents even around? In the school? Because when you talk about curriculum, JAMB has always been there. There's always been a syllabus to cover. And I'm sure that they would have done, schools, teachers would have done. But I'm not also saying that for teachers, we are getting it right. I'm not saying that we're getting it right. But I think we would have done some bit of, and because a lot of shortcuts has really come into the system. You will find a teacher telling parents, your child is in SS1, SS2, you can get him ready for WAEC and JAMB. And, just after SS1, this child can be ready for, and parents will buy into that and take that child off from the regular school to a coaching center with all of that and say, child, let's go. And a parent in this last, we also saw a father who went to write JAMB for the child too.
What?
Yes, it was in the news. So where are we going? So all of us, we're in a big mess. All of us, the government, the agency, the parent, the school, the children, and everybody. So nothing has changed in terms of numbers. What we should be doing is, why are we where we are? So what should we be doing? Do we need to reduce the number and ensure that it's those who are ready that are ready to write exams? Must we always be pushing numbers? Because we keep pushing numbers, this children, 1 million something, are the 1 million something qualified to write the exam? What qualifies this a child to write that exam?
Good question.
Maybe you take it up from there, because they are coming to you.
They're coming.
They leave her and they come to you.
Yes. Okay. Sincerely, the truth is that we are not sincere with ourselves as a society. So, you know, they say when the foundation is destroyed, there is nothing that anybody can do. And it's because as a society, we don't even know what we want from education. We can't even define our education. So once we can't define our education, it's impossible for us to give these children the direction. Many of these children that wrote JAM don't even know why they're doing it. They can't even define. I'm saying this because, you know, like you said, they come to us. So a lot of things, some of them, it's like we have to start all over again from the basis. Then let's ask ourselves, what is, you know, you hear of British education, American education. What is Nigerian education? And many parents receive Nigerian education, but we are now throwing that Nigerian education away because with that Nigerian education is our value. So our core value had been thrown away. The children can't even find, they can't even define what are my people after? What is my society looking for? So we have a big problem on our hands, but unfortunately, well, we'll throw the blames around and then next year another JAM will be there. We are not focusing on the real impacts of these results. Let's keep throwing the numbers around. But the truth is that what you are saying is that you have almost 1.5 million students whose future is, I don't know. You can't really say this is where they're going. Parents can't say this is where they're going. The children can't say this is where they're going. Nigerian government, or let me not say Nigerian government, our society don't even have a solution to what is here now. Because we have people who are already mad. As in, their future, their destiny is already tampered with. And for me, I don't want to trade blame. But the truth is that we need to sit down. All of us, all stakeholders must sit down and then let's assess what is the impact of this. You will only be able to move forward when you understand the impact of what has happened.
You're asking big questions for deep reflection there, sir. But before we get to that level, let's also look at the results that precede JAM. Because it is the same category of students that are writing JAM, that are writing WASC. Look at the results for WASC 2023. 44.29% scored pass. For 2022, 76% of 1.6 million candidates obtained 5 credits. In 2021, 81.7% of the candidates made credits and above in a minimum of 5 subjects.
Re-credits or assumed credits?
Well, we'll have to look into that mix. But at least it's a significant progress from where we have found ourselves. So it seems like it's diminishing from 2021, 2022, 2023. Then, does it suggest that, you know, after they have passed WASC, somewhere along the line, the students or their parents or the teachers drop the ball? Why is there a gap between the outcome of results, the results for WASC, and what they record in JAM? Let me start with you, ma'am.
All right. I think from the analysis you have given us, obviously it shows the problem there is we have social context as one of the major problems why we have this dwindling, you know, going down. And then we also have the fact that funding, you know, here and there. Then we have the fact that the students themselves are not aware of even what they are getting into. And parents also are pushing, they push too much. They don't, you know, they don't do year 6 again. And we have been shouting this. They don't even do year 5 again at the primary. They take them up from year 4 to go to the secondary school. And they barely have to do 3 years junior secondary. And as soon as they get to SS1, they start writing GCE. Because they can't, and they can even write WAEC. They can write WAS. Because the parents can take them off from their regular schools and go and register them in another school. So you see the half-baked. So it's a foundational thing, like the doctor said. If the foundation be destroyed, we are not sure. We don't even know what we are doing as parents. We are only concerned. my child is a graduate at the age of 13. I'm sure that a lot of parents would want their kids to already be a graduate by age 13. But you know that this is a process, this is a journey. So the major issue why this is, a lot of distraction has come in. There's a lot of things that's coming that the children are distracted. So many things are happening, and they live in a society that the value is truncated, or the value is no longer what it used to be. We have lost our value, even from the smallest unit as family, not talk about the society at the government level. I mean, you see what people are doing. Let me know, if you see what people in government are doing, where some people in a state cannot even afford good education, and somebody is paying ahead with some large sums of money, and the same children that should write WAEC and should go and write JAMB, and they tell you, at a point they tell you, what's school for me? What's in school for me? What does school have to offer me?
Education is a scam.
Education is a scam. I can make money, I can be somebody without having necessarily have to go to school. So all of this thing is just, so you see that already the value system is affected. And because the value system is affected, I'm just going to school because my parents said I should anyway. I'm going there for her, I'm going there for him. And so let me just go and see what is it. I know how to make my money. I know what to do to make money. But for the purpose of my parents saying that they, or at least they have a school cert holder at home or a degree holder at home, let me just go. So these are major things. We have taken off the attention of our children from what education is and what education has to offer them, to the point that you can get all that you want to get in life without education.
You know, during production yesterday, we had this debate, extensive debate about the education system and how, and I'm glad you talked about the Nigerian education and how it looks like we've taken in a lot of things and we're not even sure who we are, what we are as a society, and naturally the younger ones will pick up that confusion and they're not also sure as well. And that term, education is a scam, also came up. So let's tackle this today. Is education really a scam? If it is a scam, how can we rectify? Is it the EFCC or the ICPC that will help us to rectify this scam? But more importantly is, why are the younger ones interpreting education as a scam? Okay. Because we need to tackle that as well. Because obviously they're seeing something, they're seeing a trend. I don't know if it's from the society, if it's from the social media, but something is reinforcing that education is a scam in their mind. So when they write exams, when they read, there's nothing telling them, perhaps some of them or even more, that what you're doing is a scam. It won't pay off. Your parents did this and look at where they are today. Okay.
Let me start. You know, this issue of falling the standard of education didn't just start 4 or 5 years that we are rolling the figures. I think in 1985, the result was so bad that it affected so many families. And I remember, I think the following year I was going to write WAEC. And by the time I wrote WAEC and I came out with my results, and my mom and some other people were like, yeah, even those who went to school, they are not getting job. Why? Just go and learn a trade and do something. And I remember telling her, and I said, but tomorrow when they're going to choose the next local government chairman, they're not going to pick an illiterate. So I must go. But that was for me because I was told that there is a value attached to going to school. But over time, it had become the usual practice that many people graduated and there are no jobs. And a lot of those people were actually deceived to believe that once you have a certificate, you get a job. You just make it. And unfortunately, we churn out many people, like 50 people competing for one position. So that over time had been, so over time, students, these young people are now like, why do I even need to be there? They said, it's not only education that they are saying is a scam, they are even saying adulthood is a scam. They're even saying that, you know, because I have them, when they graduate, they say, adulthood is a scam. It's a scam. And I was like, no, you just, adulthood will be a scam to you if you don't know what you are growing to become. But once you know what you want to do, you have a goal for your adulthood, you will discover that you'll be a star shining. So it's what we need to do. Like I've said, we need a reorientation. All stakeholders must sit down and we ask ourselves, As a society, what do we need? What's the need of education for us? Because I'm also a teacher trainer. And many times when I'm meeting my teachers, because I am, as in teacher trainers, people like adult class, the first question I do ask is, can you define education? And I've not found anyone giving me the correct...
Even from the educators?
Yes. Correct definition.
Is education a scam? Yes, no. Let us put that to rest.
Some
of us are good examples, but let's put it.
The real education is not a scam. But the education that is being churned out now, that we're giving, is a scam.
Madam, yes or no?
It's not meeting the need. I agree with Doctor. The real education is not a scam. As a matter, it's what you need for life. Education is life. It's preparing in the community for you to be useful. Education is preparing individual to be useful in the community.
No, it's not just even being useful, ma. You are seated here. Why you can do this is because you've been developed. The skills, the ability, everything have been developed. But that's not what we're doing. We're just telling them, cram this, put this in.
Okay. Exactly.
Without...
Okay. Let's look at it and unpack. There's a standard of education which may not have dropped because 5 credit is still 5 credit.
Okay.
Quality of education is perhaps a debate here, which is what the students are seeing and are looking at. So, do we need to rejig our curriculum to be more of reality-reflective curriculum? Because if they are saying it's a scam, for those who think it's a scam, maybe there's something they want to learn, they are not learning, because they say, if I don't go to school, I will still become something. So is there a way we can look at our curriculum? We've been talking about this for many years, to be reality reflective as maybe a form of motivation for those who may look away and may just do it for their parents.
Basically what we need to do, see, we have a very good curriculum, sincerely. If it's about the national policy on education that I was taught, that I had a copy, very, very rich, but the implementation.
Does he have like social media things, all those kind of... Those are things I mean reality reflective.
See, the curriculum recognizes the fact that there are media that can help. So that we are bringing social media in is not actually the problem. It's not the problem. How do we regulate? You can't regulate what you don't make or you don't understand. So the social media is allowed, is expected, but it must be managed. But who is managing it? That's not just a problem. You see, the social media is coming to enhance the rot in the system. Are you getting me? The social media is not creating the problem, but the social media is only promoting what is in the system. So the system we need to rejig the system. For example, in the situation where somebody says, I'm not in position, I just wake up and say, this is where we're going. But somebody is telling you, sir, this is what we're supposed to do. You say, no, that's the way I want to do it. If you don't like it, get away. How does that? Or somebody tells you, please just take it, that's my own style. Is it about your own style or about what is the policy that you are supposed to follow? That's where the problem is.
Are you talking about school administrators that are making the laws themselves? Because we need to also zero in on that point you're making.
I will tell you, it's not just the school administrator. People in government, because it flows from that down. I have worked in secondary school, and I see inspectors coming to school and say this. And then the school says, yes, we are doing this, but we are also doing this so that we can have a robust system. And they say, no. That's the way I want it, madam. If you don't want it that way, I'm going to write something against you. And sincerely, they will write. So it's not just the school administrators, the people in the ministry, almost everyone. I have been to an administrator and I said, this is what we are supposed to do. And he said, no, just permit me to be like this. Let it be like this for now.
Well, permit me to follow up on that, because Jeffrey's question is instructive, to the extent that what is the education driving at? Back to the first point. We say now that we're building a knowledge-based economy. And a knowledge-based economy is supposed to be deploying knowledge to solve problems.
Yeah.
You know, for instance, using artificial intelligence, you know, to solve problems in the health sector, in our ministries. Is our curricula still designed to solve all of those problems? And you talked about policy. We could ask, where are the education district authorities who were famed in the past for, you know, regulating and ensuring that standards were kept, were maintained in the schools?
I think you can take that, madam.
Yeah, well,
Do we still have them?
we still have inspectorate, you know, quality assurance, we also talk about that aspect. But who do we have there and what are we doing? And you find them going to school to be on the lookout for exactly what is required. But you get them, somebody was telling me, some inspector came in and they asked for something and my administrator was able to tweak them, you know, and then whatever was it that they went there for was never addressed, and they went off. Several years, and it's still happening. You are there, oh, we are so team, so we need envelope. Let the envelope of our team lead the backyard than our own. It's happening. So the policy, the implementation, the enforcement, the supervision is all faulty. Until we begin to put our children, the younger ones, at the forefront of all that we do, so that it is not just about money. The fear of what's going to happen to me when I retire, the fear of what's going to happen tomorrow, makes a lot of people to completely forget who they are and the reason why they are in that position that they are. Tomorrow we always take care of it. Everybody says tomorrow cannot take care of yourself. It is what I do now. It is what you do now. Will you not do it at the detriment of the children? Because you get there's something you are supposed to go and do. And of course, talk about artificial intelligence and the rest of them. Of course, schools are doing what they can in that area, in the bid of putting in, but how well are they doing? What's the funding for that?
Exactly.
What's the funding? Is the funding there at even from the preschool level, from the preschool level to elementary to secondary? What do we have? What part is the government playing? What's happening in Lagos? Is the same thing that is happening in Lagos schools is what is happening in all other state schools? I mean, is it the same rate at which some states are exposed to technology and are driving education with technology that is also happening in other states? And because, you know, while a call came 2 years ago, I was also chatting with my son. I said, Mommy, even JAM need to give us details. This analysis of, this is the number. What area did they really fail?
Exactly.
There is English, there is maths, and there are core. You cannot just give us a figure and say, that one person saw 300. 300 how? So until we know that foundational issue, that's what we can address. If it is English that is a major problem, we know that we need to sit. We must be problem-solving inclined in such a way to know exactly what our problem is, and we know
so
how
more
to...
like, what causes did they fail the most, or subjects?
Yes, what causes they fail the most, and then again, if we can even get to school. I think our demograph, when it comes to registering, may also have to come in. Because you also want to know if this child is from, we know states, but which school? Is it also in part of the fund they need to? So we can know, maybe in this area, the schools in this area, you know, that have this kind of challenge, or the school in this area, you know, because we really need to go down to the grassroots for us to, so if not, we just be doing...
And that's a no-brainer, really. We must thank your son for that. Hopefully, the authorities are listening, because you need to use data for good, not just to put the results
Can
out.
I just
Yes,
add to
absolutely.
that? For example, WAEC always have examiners reports. Examiners report will tell you in this subject topics that were people have done. Students didn't do well. So JAMB is not doing the same. But I guess the assumption is that if they could write WAEC, then they should be able to write JAMB. Since JAMB is not... JAMB, for me, I think UTME is supposed to be like an aptitude test.
Absolutely.
To test the area where this person is likely to succeed. But that's not. It's more like an achievement test, again. So, in that case, JAMB holds us the responsibility of coming up and say, this area, students are not doing well, as far as JAMB is concerned. My son wrote JAMB before UTME. And for him, it was like...
JAM before, or the WASP before?
No, JAM. The UTME before WASP.
WASP,
Oh,
yes.
without, okay, before WASP.
Yes,
Okay.
because a lot of them did that.
Okay, just wanted to get that.
And for him, it was like, when he passed, he just felt like, I know I'm going to pass WAEC.
You know.
Oh.
So, do you get it? So, what that tells him was that all those topics, the questions, then it means if I could pass them, then that means that...
Let me just ask, was it deliberate? Because normally, WASC comes before UTME.
No, it's like that.
Always been
it's always been
That's always
preparation
been
for WASC. Like, usually, it's not that we have it even up to now. It used to be like February,
March,
February, thereabout, that
March.
JAM comes in, and then WAEC. WAEC is ending, WAEC by now has started. Now they have started. But of course, JAM comes up first.
Okay.
And
it was during our time, we did WASC before
I think what
JAM.
happened was you had written it the previous year, then perhaps you didn't.
Yeah.
We'll go there. So this message is from Bem Syke on X. Says the challenge that is responsible for this poor examination results is lack of teaching and learning assessments to inform better approaches to teaching and learning. And I think something related to what Jeff mentioned about just how well is it capturing the current realities. But again, I want us to anchor on developing our own educational system, something that we own. And we know that this is ours. It has our values. It has who we are as a society and what will make us compete well in the international world. The previous government said, start teaching children in Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, their mother tongues. They never implemented it. And I know that a lot of people were against that.
And that is even debatable because the minorities will say, why are you forcing me to learn a majority language?
A majority language. So let's just end with one solution from each of you as to how to develop our own education system so that we have our own thing.
Like I said earlier, we need to define what is our need. Then it will be easier for us to know what we want. Our need will actually help us dealing with what we want. So we need to sit down and be able to come up with our own education. The Chinese have theirs, the English have theirs. Even if we are going to say Nigerian education, we can all go back. I used to tell my students, I don't think in English, I think in Yoruba. And that helps me to cope with English. So until we get to that point, because already we are training children who don't see Nigeria. They don't see Nigeria. And these younger people don't even think Nigeria is the ideal place. Why? Because we give them an impression that Nigeria is a photocopy. Either UK or America is the real. So everybody wants to go to the real life. Do you get what I'm saying? So until we're able to sit down, all stakeholders, sincerely, I don't want to trade any blame. I want us to sit down and then we say, where do we go? Where will Nigeria be in? We are fighting, we want to keep Nigeria. To keep Nigeria, one must be done. What are we keeping Nigeria for? What do we want to achieve? Where is Nigeria going to be in 30 years? We've had several 2020 Nigeria, 2030. We are now thinking of 2050. To where? We've been doing that. In 2016, I would tell people the reason Nigeria had to go into this economic wala in 2016 was that after 2015, the whole world entered into age of innovation. But we were not there. We're still trying to come in now.
We're totally out of time, madam. Your take, 30 seconds.
Well, yes, we need to decide what we want to meet our need. Then we also need to put in place the process. The process and be ready to implement and enforce. Because even when you say this is what, there's been so many meetings. What's the outcome? Every stakeholder has a part to play in the implementation. And then there are enforcers. When government says, let's do this, or a policy comes out, and it is also people who are supposed to enforce are breaking it. JAM said 18 for admission into university. Even us, teachers and educators, owners are saying, why should that be? It can't be. 18 years is too old. And when they leave this country, go somewhere else, they don't get to those level of education until they are that age. So what's our problem? We show everybody must be ready to implement. We must agree and say we want to implement this, but that agreement is a serious matter. So
Indeed, it's a serious matter. And it gets convoluted when you go to for employment, and maybe they say university of, I don't want to call any university, maybe I want to call Coyote University, but I won't call it.
Please go ahead.
And then they present one from Coventry or Sussex. Of course, you know who they will take at the end of the day these days. So all of that plays a role, but
so much.
it means this conversation is not over yet. We need to keep talking until it's resolved. I want to thank you, Didola Adekogbe, the Education Management and School Improvement Consultant, Dr. Joseph Ayeni, Head, University Counseling and Career Unit, LASU. Both of you did a fantastic job. Thank you for what you do, and we hope it's going to get better for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it's a big conversation. It's not over yet, but for now, let's just leave it where it is. When we come back after this break, we'll switch gears to the issue of the economy. Join us again.